What's up, y'all? This is your girl, comedian Miss Quana. We have a great episode this evening for y'all. We have a great guest. We have the legendary comedian Rodney Perry. So I need for y'all to put your hands together, and I need for y'all to clap for Rodney Perry. Hey, Mr. Perry. I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all.
It's me. I was muted like a fool. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot.
Well, welcome to Laughs and Libations.
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Papa tired. I was on the road last night.
Wow, man, I'm so glad to have you. Well, we're glad to have you. Hopefully, Armani will come in soon. I was trying to look for him, but I don't know where he is.
Hey,
But
I appreciate y'all having me, man. I've been checking out the show and checking out y'all what y'all doing, and I love your social media feed. Yo, you tickles me.
thank you so much. I try to hone my craft as much as I can. When I can't get on stage, I do what I
Mm-hmm.
can on social media. So I do
Hey,
the
that's
best I
it.
can. Hey,
Good for you.
but,
Good for you.
but tell the
So
people about
what
yourself.
we talk about? Let's get it in.
Okay, so tell the people about yourself. How did you get started in comedy, and where you're from?
From Chicago, Illinois, on the South Side. I had a teacher in second grade that would let me tell jokes at the end of the day if I shut up. So that was the beginning, and of course, it took many years to find it as a profession, but I've been a comedian as long as I can remember.
Wow. So tell the people about your military service, and I salute you for your service and your sacrifice.
Indeed, I served in the United States Navy from 1990 to 1998, and I was in the Navy, man, and I joined the Navy. I couldn't swim. I was very dumb. I joined the Navy and drowned for 3 weeks. Till I figured out how to get out of that water, and it was tough. Yeah,
What? So wait a minute. You joined the Navy knowing you couldn't swim.
it never occurred to me that I needed to swim. But yeah, I was a stupid young man. Yeah.
Wow. And you could have died. Oh my
No, they
God.
weren't gonna they're not gonna let you die, but they definitely let your
Don't
ass
let you
drown almost. They let you get this close.
this close. Hell no. Okay, so what has been your proudest moment of comedy so far?
Wow, that's a good question. What's my proudest moment? I won a comedy competition in 2002, the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. Absolutely my proudest moment because it made people respect me.
Right,
You know,
right, right.
I did swim in boot camp, but when I got to boot camp, I didn't know how to swim. So before you can graduate boot camp, you had to swim, and so I was able to swim before I got out.
Oh my God. Now that's hilarious. Boys, okay, so you won a comedy competition and they had
The
to
Bay
respect you
Area
for
Black
that.
Comedy Competition. At that time, it was one of the biggest competitions in comedy, and I won that mug in 2002. Yeah,
Oh wow. And it's been uphill ever since.
we've been working. We do good. We do good.
Ooh. Okay, so as far as comedy, what has been a thorn in your side when it comes to comedy? What has gotten on your nerves over the years when it comes to, this game that we call comedy?
Right, what gets on my nerves. I don't know, man. I love comedy, man. I love telling jokes. I love everything about it. I love creating jokes. I love the people, the comedians. I mean, if anything gets on my nerves that's changed over the years is how people get famous. Like, back, when I was starting, you had to get on TV or film, and which means you need to be in LA. But nowadays you can become famous from your phone. And
Right,
that thing is very different now.
right. Wow. I mean, cause you right. Cause when it comes to this phone, somebody could just sit on this phone and just be famous as hell. But
And
once
and,
they get
and
on
that's
that
okay though.
stage,
That's okay. That's okay. You
right,
know,
right.
yeah.
But now, if they want to get on that stage, now that stage is a different beast.
That
That's
stage is not a game.
it's not a game. Cause I done
Yeah.
already bombed already, so I know how that
And we
feels.
all bombed. Everybody has bombed before. If you meet a comedian that haven't bombed, he ain't been doing comedy long enough. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, cause I bombed shoot before my first year. I think I was in about 2 months already, and I bombed already. I said, well, at least I got it out of the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, you got to have the wherewithal to get back on stage. It's not the bomb that's the problem. It's not quitting after the bomb.
Right, right. And some people
What
quit.
was my
They
first
bomb.
joke? What was your first joke? My first joke in second grade, I used to do impressions. So I would do impressions of Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali. As a little boy, second grade. Yeah, that was
Wow.
the early stuff. Yeah,
Do you still do impressions, or you don't do them as much as you used to?
I can, but it's not a big part of my act now. But
Okay.
I can manipulate my voice and I can do people that interest me. But it's just not what I do because I believe if you do impression, you got to really kill it. Like there's a lot of people out there doing impressions that's just okay at impression doing. You know what I mean? And I don't like that.
Right, right. So when you were doing impressions, what was your favorite person to impersonate?
The great Howard Cosell, it's me and you, Muhammad. Let's try to figure it out. Muhammad, how are you? Hey, Howard, I'm the greatest of all time on the bed. I'll be the greatest of all time. Pretty. I'm pretty, Howard. I'm so pretty. You can't do nothing about it. Mm. And so those were the early things. And
Oh,
I had a joke. I'm bringing back a joke I did years ago about Mr. T. And Mr. T was, hey, fool, it's me, Mr. T. I'm the greatest of all time. Mr. T, I do stuff like yeah, it was stupid.
oh,
That's why I stopped.
oh, wow, oh, wow. So, so coming into comedy, who was some of your mentors or mentor that took you to the side and say, "Hey, do it like this or do it like that"?
There's so many people. There's people like Tony Royster, who nobody knows who he is, but Tony Royster told me, say, Rodney Perry, what are you doing on stage with all that stuff in your pocket? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you got stuff in your pockets. Get that shit out your pockets. And so now to this day, I still don't go on stage with anything in my pockets because he
Right,
said it was distracting.
right,
People like Said the Entertainer, people like Monique, mentored me. Steve Harvey was one of my mentors. So
right,
I got some great tutelage from some people.
right. Now you just spoke about Monique. That's my girl. I want to meet Monique one of these days.
You
What is
will.
it? I hope I do. What now? What's one of the biggest lessons or gems you can take that you took away from working with that sister?
It's so many, man. She dropped jewels on me all the time, but there was a moment when I was like, really anxious to get out there, and she's like, Rodney, be patient.
Right,
Just be patient. Your time is coming, and you'll be the one that's leading at some point. But if you're not willing to follow someone, you're not gonna be ready to lead. And I learned that from Monique. And she's always been a great source of energy and inspiration.
man. I love myself some Monique. And when you was
And if
on
you ain't
there,
never got no Monique hug, ooh, you do your life will be better when she get hug your ass.
wow. See, I got to get one of them hugs. If I get one of them hugs, I'm good. I ain't even got to
Oh,
share a
you gonna be
stage with
real
her.
good. She
I,
real good.
I'll be all right. I'll be like, you know what? I can just go off in the sunset and live the rest of my life if I get one of them hugs. I ain't even got to even share a stage with her. But yeah,
Good stuff.
man, but that's a sister right there. But when I first saw you, I saw you on Comic View. Man, look. I said, I am in love already. I said, I
Wow.
love Rodney Perry. I mean, you, you saved a lot of lives, man.
Wow. While Comic View was great for us, those in my peer group, we did Comic View, and it was like a reunion of sorts because you didn't get to see everybody until Comic View, and Comic View was just like one of those moments. I did Comic View maybe 8 times,
Yes, you
and
did.
each time was one of those a moment in my career. Whether it was in New Orleans or L.A. or Atlanta, Georgia. I did Comic View many times.
Man, yes, you did. And every time you did, I sat there just like this, looking, learning. Because I said, one of
You
these
want me
days,
to answer these questions, or what?
you can answer the questions as they come up on the screen.
What should a new comic do to get going, get on stage? There is no
Yeah,
substitute from getting on stage. You got to go up somewhere, coffee shop. Don't tell nobody, don't tell no friends, no family. Just go do it and see if you love it, and then we can figure it out after that.
exactly. Now, if a new comic came up to you and asked, would you mentor them? Would you be open to mentor a new comic if they was willing to, for real, listen to you and learn from you?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
I mentor people all the time, but I believe that the mentor chooses the mentee, not vice versa. Like I've had comedians, hey man, you gonna mentor me? I'm like, no, I ain't. I don't know you like that. I pick you. You don't pick me. And
that's that,
so
that's
you
true.
decide who you're willing to help and who you want to help. You see something in them, and it makes you want to help them. But you can't just watch me go, oh, they'll right here, he gonna help me. No, that's not how it
No,
works.
no. I mean, I believe in, if you want somebody to mentor you, just do what you do, and they'll watch you. And if they feel that they want to, help you out, they'll be like, "Hey, come here, young brother, young sister."
Indeed. You got to be patient enough to let it happen. She
Yeah,
says, Miss Hilliard says, I saw Miss Perry on Comedy Hype last week speaking on Steve Harvey. They asked me a question about Steve, and Steve posted on his Twitter page,
hmm
tell me who you don't like, who you don't think is funny. And they were implying that maybe Steve didn't write that. And of course, he came out afterwards and said he didn't write it. But I'm of the mindset that nothing goes on Steve Harvey's page without him knowing about it. Like
right,
I think if he didn't type it personally, he knows it was typed, and that
right,
was my take. Yeah,
right. I believe the same thing too. Because if I get somebody to handle my social media for me, don't think I don't know what's going on my social media without me okaying it first. I'm just
right.
saying.
And that
But
little tweet gave him more energy than anything else over the past 6 months. So it
right,
worked.
right.
Whatever he was doing.
Yeah, it did. But I mean, like I said, I grew up watching you. I grew up watching Steve Brown. I grew up watching a lot of y'all. So I said, maybe one day, because I see comedians as the world's doctors. And that's what I still see comedians as. And I said, well, one day I'm going to be a doctor. Just never knew what kind of doctor I was going to be until today. So I stand on the shoulders of you and everybody else.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I
Somebody
stand.
says, hey, D3 says, I met Rodney at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Georgia 2012. I was a student working the board for him and Thea Vidal. Wow, that's a legend right there. Thea Vidal, what a great human being. And shouts out to D3 for putting that post up. Appreciate you, bro.
Man, but okay, so in all your years of doing comedy, what has been your top 5 places to go and do comedy? Top
Wow,
5.
good question. I'm a Chicagoan. Chicago is always near and dear to my heart. It's one of my places I love to perform.
Right,
Um, of course, Baltimore, Maryland is
right,
I draw in Baltimore. Like Baltimore people love me and they come out and see me.
right.
I really love performing in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta is home for me now. I love it. I love Atlanta.
Right.
LA is on the list. That's 4. And I got to go overseas and perform for the troops, and that was a beautiful experience. So that's also on my list.
Wow. So what was that whole experience like? Like, what did you have to prepare to do in order to just go overseas and prepare for the people that's protecting us and our freedoms?
I mean, I'm a vet, so I kind of had a unique understanding of those people and what they were going through. And
Right,
then at the end of the day, they're Americans and they're away from home and they want a slice of home. So I
right.
just tried to be that slice for them.
Do you think comedians should take time out of their busy schedule to go over and visit the vets and make them laugh and bring a little piece of home overseas? You think all comedians should do
Absolutely.
it?
I think you're absolutely right. All comedians should to spend some time overseas and bringing a slice of American pie to the troops, man. I love that.
Right, right. Cause I feel like sometimes our vets are forgotten, and I don't think they should feel like that. I think everybody that can go over there and bring, like you said, a piece of home to the soldiers and let
Right.
them know they're not forgotten because they're really not because they are out here protecting our freedoms. So
And
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 doing
they're
that.
putting themselves in harm's way, which is a big deal.
Exactly. So go on ahead and just go over there and make them laugh for a couple of hours or however long you have over there. That's how I
Right.
see it. But I don't see a lot of comedians doing it. But I think every comedian should if they get the opportunity to actually do it.
Oh yeah, I've been to Japan. I've been all over Korea. I've been to Guam. I've been all over the world telling jokes. So it's a blessing.
Wow, man, I salute you because I know they could have. I mean, that couldn't have been easy to actually go over there and didn't know if a bullet was gonna fly past your head. You just don't know. So, but I salute you for it. In comedy, have you made like which which comedians that you can call right now and say that those are my best friends that I can really call if I'm in need?
Wow. My best friend works for Kevin Hart. His name is Harry Ratchford.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Goodspeed. He's been with Kevin for a number of years. That's my guy. Joy Wells is one of my best buddies in the game. Bone Hampton, one of my best friends. I love Tony Rock. I love Tony Roberts. I love uh, Ali Sadiq.
That's my father.
These guys are my friends. Um, uh, Akatunde Warnock.
Mm-hmm.
So many great comics. Who else? Glamis Rory.
Mm-hmm.
My friend. So many good folks, man.
Wow.
And Daniel Dugar. I mean, you brush with these people and they become part of your family.
Right. That's so true. Because when you travel and you do these shows, a lot of people become friends, and then they become family, and then that's your whole crew right there. So, um, so how do my question? How when it comes to writing jokes, do you think it's better to write about current events or write about what you've gone through in your life?
I'm more from the Richard Pryor School of Comedy, and I believe your actors should echo your life. But I do appreciate current events.
Right.
I appreciate Dave Chappelle and how he's always relevant and current. But I also like Bill Cosby, who talks about his family and his wife, his kids, and what they did. So
Right.
I lean toward the family aspect of it, but I appreciate both.
Okay, that's good because me coming into the game, I've been learning that telling about your life is important. Let the people into your world and what you're
Yeah,
going through or what you have gone through in
and
the
this is where I explain it. Like people, like I'm not a great writer. I'm a great reporter. I'm always reporting my life back to the people, and
right,
so
right,
I'm always putting that stuff out there. And once you know how to write a joke, it's all relevant. You can do it all.
yeah, yeah. So a couple years ago, because the world, when I tell you the world shut down when you had got sick, when you had, I think you had a stroke, the world shut down. So can you explain to people what you was doing that day when that happened to you?
Well, I mean, I went to the VA for something else,
Mm-hmm.
and they checked me for COVID, and I had it. And I wasn't really sick. I wasn't overly, bogged down. But I went to the hospital, and I didn't come out for 14 days, and it got progressively worse each day. And it's a lonely little disease. It just lingers around till it can't last no more. And so I was blessed enough to be healthy enough to go home, but it was very difficult.
Wow. Man, because when I tell you the world just, I mean, it was like the whole comedy world was like, no. We all
Mhm.
just quiet and we had to pray because we can't be losing you riding here, man.
Ain't going nowhere.
Nah, you ain't going nowhere just yet. I got to meet you one day, so nah, you can't go nowhere just yet.
Now, what city you in?
I'm in Columbus, Georgia. I'm an
Okay,
hour from Atlanta,
yeah, you right up the road.
right on up the road. I was just there on the 24th at Uptown doing a comedy show with Armani. Yep. So I'm right up the road.
Yeah,
So, but I do appreciate the fact that you are, even though you're not physically mentoring nobody, people can sit up here and they can actually watch you and learn something. Even because, man, when you did the Corona Comedy Club with Ali Sadiq, and you did the song with by R. Kelly, and you fell backwards, I said, "Wait a minute, hold on!" I had to hold
what's
my
wrong?
breath.
What's wrong with this guy?
I'm like, "What?" I said, "You know what? I forgot just that fast that you a physical comic." I said, "This man done bust his brain." And but when you got back up, I said, "Okay, he good, he good, y'all." But I loved you on the Corona Comedy Club. I mean, cause you let
That
everybody
was a
see
special
you.
time. That
Yeah,
time was special because we were all trying to figure out social media, and we wanted to create something and still do comedy, and that was it.
yeah, and Ali gave everybody a chance to come on there and just still do it, do what y'all. Because at the time I wasn't doing comedy at the time, but I enjoyed watching everybody. I got to see Smokey Suarez. I never knew who Smokey Suarez was until Ali Sadiq.
Brilliant comedian.
Yes, he is, and I watch him go live and stuff. But it was cool. So, what is your favorite, your top 5 comedy clubs to go to? Comedy clubs or venues to do comedy in?
Good question. Again, the Baltimore Comedy Factory is one of my favorite spots.
Right.
Uptown Comedy Corner here in Atlanta, Atlanta Comedy here in Atlanta. I like the Laugh and Skull here in Atlanta. Uh, what else do I like? I like Caroline's, but it's gone. There's in New York, and I think that's about it.
Wow.
Oh, the Comedy Union in L.A. That was my spot too.
Okay,
Hollywood
now,
Park.
okay, so for somebody that don't know, why do they call a comedy venue the improv? So what does that mean, the improv, for somebody that don't know?
Well, the word improv is short for improvisation,
Right.
and improvisation is largely what you're doing as a stand-up comedian. You're improvising. You're creating on the spot. You're being funny in the moment. And once you figure that out, improv is also a form of acting. When you see people doing sketches, that's all improv.
Right, right. And sometimes you see people that be sitting up on stage like me. Sometimes I could be doing my set and another joke would just pop up in my head, and
True.
I just be like, okay, should I say it? And I end up do saying the joke, even though it's not written down anywhere, because it always happens. And a lot of
I
people
always say
tell
this: a joke is not better. The best time you tell a joke is the very first time you say it.
that part. Now that is so true, because I mean I've had people tell me, say, Shaquana, when as you get along in this comedy world, you're gonna be on that stage and a joke is gonna come up that you never thought that you was gonna ever say. And you better say it, because you might not get another chance to say that particular joke. So go ahead and say it and hope somebody recorded you saying that joke. And I appreciate everybody that has, poured into me, especially you pouring into me, telling me, you know, whatever joke you can tell about yourself being in a wheelchair, tell it. Tell it, cause it can't nobody tell it the way
Your
you
truth
can.
is
But
always
you can
going to be the funniest thing, and what you know most about.
exactly. Now that's true for real. Cause I try my best to continuously write, even though sometimes when I write the stuff don't be funny until I go back
It
and
ain't
look
got to
at it
be funny.
again.
It got to be funny. Sometimes just the idea is funny, but the words ain't got there yet. So just got to keep going, keep pressing, sis.
I did not do that. I do just that because
Hey,
I
I
sit
got
up
to come
and
back on here with Armani on here so we can really chop it up.
I hope he come on because this is the clock already, and I don't know where his crazy behind it. But
Uh,
hopefully he come on because it's almost 6 o'clock. But he got the link and everything, and I met him 3 years ago on IG. That's how I met him on IG 3 years ago, and I didn't meet him in person until last year when he put me on stage for the first time at KOD.
wow,
He put me on
that's
stage
good
for the
stuff.
first time at KOD.
Good stuff.
So
Well, look, let me get ready, get up out of here. I gotta go in here and do something for my wife.
okay, thank you so
Work on
much
my
for
chat.
coming.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate y'all's laughter and libations, laughs and libations. I love it. What should we be drinking liquor?
You can drink, you can smoke on here. It don't even matter.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
I'm
but I
gonna come
just
back.
want to.
I'm gonna come back when your homeboy baby is on here too, so we can talk all talk.
Okay, I'll make sure you come back. But thank you so much for coming, and we're gonna have you back.
All right,
That's
Queen.
Rodney Perry, y'all.
Yes, ma'am. All right, till
All
next
right,
time.
all right. But that was Rodney Perry, y'all. Y'all got to see and hear him. You know, tell y'all from his own experiences. We're gonna have him back. I promise y'all. This was a great live. This was a great show. I appreciate him for coming on, having a good time with me. We're gonna have him back. I promise y'all that. This I just wanted to get a few of these questions out before you know he had to go. But y'all, I'm thankful for y'all that y'all came on here. Y'all showed out. Y'all was in the comments. Um, I just appreciate y'all. Y'all have really showed out on this show. Y'all keep this coming. If you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe right now while you are on here. I'm glad that y'all got to learn a little bit of something about Uncle Rodney. Cause yeah, that man he's a national treasure to us all. And we got to treasure this man. We got to treasure all our OGs. We cannot, when I say we cannot let our OGs go without them getting their flowers and knowing that they are loved and appreciated. I hope that y'all enjoyed yourselves. I hope that y'all got to learn something about this man. We're going to make sure that he comes back. I promise y'all. We're going to make sure that he comes back. Thank you so much for subscribing. I wish I could have got some of the questions out. I was going to ask him about that. I didn't get the chance to ask him, but next time he comes back, hopefully y'all will come back as well and y'all can ask him all types of questions. I just wanted to make sure that I got as many questions as I can get out because I knew it was a time crunch. So, yeah. But I appreciate y'all again. Thank y'all for coming. This was a great live. I had fun. Next time Armani will be here. I don't know where he's at, but let's just hope he's okay. Um, until next time, y'all have a great, beautiful, and wonderful night. And I will see y'all again next Sunday. Bye, y'all.